Hi everyone, it's Chenzo from Reality Art Pod. I'm here to talk about The Challenge Season 39, Episode 3, It's a Matter of Semantics, and Episode 4, titled I'm Coming Out. I'm sorry that this episode is a little bit delayed. This was a lot of challenge. It was two 90-minute episodes in a row. I'm left feeling like these episodes got thrown on us like garbage because this season has terrible ratings. I think they're just trying to rush to the point where the vets show up with hopes that the ratings will get better. Before I dive into it, if you like the video, don't forget to subscribe. I'm also going to put a link in the bio of this video with my playlist of the Challenge 39 recaps, but we've got a lot to cover, so let's dive in. James comes back to the house, happy to win an elimination against Chauncey, who's a really tough competitor. He's interested in Mariah. Mariah feels bad because she's attracted to James, but she's also been hanging out with Bananas outside the show for a while now. The Americans meet and discuss that they had a plan for Chauncey to surprise an international player, but Raven betrayed them and spoiled the plan to the other side. Michelle tells us, Raven, you're in trouble, girl. Get on your big girl pants because you're going to be fighting this week. Big T chefs it up in the kitchen and cooks a big, delicious looking steak for the house, complete with her apron, her Hell's Kitchen jacket. Everyone loves the food. Huhui is struggling with her English, and I can't imagine how hard it must be for her to be there, but she has Horacio who speaks Spanish with her, and maybe she has a crush on him, I can't tell. Raven is starting to feel iced out by the group. They all party in the hot tub. This is the biggest hot tub I've ever seen. Asif wears a bikini. Kieran and Raven are getting smoochy. Horacio says he's staying out of it, but Nerys is eyeing him, and we all know how that's going to turn out. Berna gyrates and pats her crotch performatively. She notices Big T and Melissa giving her dirty looks, and it hurts her feelings. They're barely making any faces, but she feels bullied. Berna confronts Melissa, saying, when you look at me and smile, I feel bullied. This must be triggering for Melissa, given that what she's seen on the seasons that she's been on. I don't think Melissa is a bully. She says, do not ever say I'm bullying you. Melissa takes this very personally. Huey empathizes with Berna. He feels like she walks into a room and she feels like people are talking about her. Emmanuel comforts Berna and he says that she's his number one in the game. Berna says she's been working on herself and wants to just have fun. I feel for her. Sometimes when you, aka me, get into a self-destructive spiral, it's hard to just pull yourself out of it easily. The players get ready for their daily challenge in their Under Armour prison uniforms. For their third challenge, TJ reminds us that they're in the control section of the game, and honestly, these game section labels they're either so poorly thought out or poorly named. I have no idea what they mean. The challenge is called Control Tower. 16 of them will be in buggies with numbers on them as passengers and drivers. The others will be in the control tower, shouting at them which numbers go in what place of an equation. Someone needs to bubble up to challenge HQ that anything to do with equations is not interesting television. Asif has a great idea that anyone whose English is their second language should partner with someone who has perfect English. They put Michelle on the loudspeaker running the show, and Ed and Kylant are on the equation. I think they do a great job distributing the responsibilities here. Michelle could lead a valet service. She does a great job bossing them around. Ed and Kylant are crushing the equations, and Huhui and Horacio are having fun and kind of flirting in their buggy. On the third equation, they switch Kylant for Jay, and they quickly figure out that equation. Raven in the control tower, who's doing nothing, gets frustrated with Huhui for not understanding English, which just sucks of her. No wonder why they're all agitated with Raven. I'm getting agitated with her too. They end up crushing the mission and winning $50,000, even though they had plenty of time to complete this, and it was kind of a guaranteed win unless they completely messed it up. Back at the house, Melissa talks to Berna, saying she would appreciate her pulling her aside and talking to her in the future, and Berna takes back her bully accusations. They go to the club, and everyone is looking amazing. Michelle is loving getting to know Callum. He feels like it's officially a thing, and he's falling for Michelle, and they kiss, but he still has a girlfriend. Huey sees Raven from across the club and conveniently remembers that he has it out for her and remembers that she voted for him in the last elimination. Michelle and Jay convene. Jay tells Michelle that Callum is the ringleader of the International Alliance. She reinforces to Jay that he's her ride or die. For the deliberation, it seems like the group is pretty settled on alternating genders for eliminations, giving me some faith in humanity and equity, so they're only considering females this time, which seems fair. Berna does a good job of selling herself to the group, and I also feel like the ladies are more likely to forgive her because nobody wants to face Berna in elimination. Raven feels like she's made every rookie mistake in the game. So it seems like Raven is going to get voted in, and in the bedroom, the girls decide to burn votes by putting votes randomly on the guys and letting the guys vote for Raven. I guess the logic behind this is they don't want to vote for her so that she doesn't call them into elimination. Corey is especially offended that the girls are burning votes. At the arena, Jay starts it off by voting for Raven, and the guys all vote for Raven, with the girls burning votes because they don't want to be Raven's pick again. Raven even votes for herself. TJ acts indignant that all the girls are burning their votes, but sir, you are one of the producers of this show and it's a hole in your game. That's your problem, not theirs. So Raven is nominated. She calls down Huhui to go against her and they're playing dirty deeds. They have to race to a dirt mound and search in the dirt for 3 objects. They have to get 2 out of 3 objects to win a round, and 2 out of 3 rounds wins the elimination. Huhui takes the first round, with everyone pointing out that Raven isn't really keeping an eye on Huhui. Raven outmuscles Huhui in round 2 and again in round 3, where Raven at that point is just absolutely bodying her, and Raven ends up winning the elimination while keeping both of her shoes on. So we have to say goodbye to Huhui, and goodbye Huhui, you seem so sweet, and TJ calls her the sweetest contender we've ever had, and he hopes that we see her in the future. I hope that we see her again too, though it seems like she kind of is there and is pretty quiet most of the time, and through that hasn't really and probably will never do anything too memorable on the show. I don't know. Am I a Huhui stan? After Huhui's elimination, they go back to the house and Raven is excited to have won her first elimination. She says she feels now like the girls see that she's trustworthy. I don't know how she's decided this, other than the fact that she picked an international player, not an American, but for real, she only picked Huhui because she could beat her. Zara randomly decides that she has it out for Corey and she calls Corey a snake because he's been saying her name. Horacio says that Zara is taking it too personally. Corey and Asif agree to stick with the Americans, and as they get ready, Berna calls Raven desperate. Their daily challenge is called Under Control. It's a swimming challenge. They have to swim out to buoys, swim down, and collect 25 puzzle pieces. They can complete 5 puzzles, which are each worth $5,000, and if they get all 5 in fast enough time, TJ will double the total to $50,000. Nerys isn't the best swimmer, but she has her Scuba Nelly necklace, and we get a nod to Nelson as he pop-up videos into the picture. During the pre-challenge strategizing, they're all talking over each other as usual. Asif says Huey is in his ear like a mosquito buzzing in the middle of the night. The challenge is so chaotic. Michelle lies to people, telling them the pieces aren't as deep as they really are to get them to have bravery, which is a big mommy move. Nerys and Melissa are struggling with the challenge, and Huey is causing a ruckus, which Callum calls annoying. Ed decides he's Baywatch to rescue Nerys and helps her with her piece. They get it done with allegedly 3 seconds to spare, and they all celebrate on the podium as Shrek's fart pours out of the podium, and they win $50,000, bringing their total to $406,000. TJ now takes matters into his own hands, telling them it's time for a male elimination. No more funny business with the votes. He is over the burn votes. Later on, Asif decides he wants to get into drag to celebrate because they are celebrating Big T coming out, so they're having a pride party, and Corey and Huey connect over both being gay. So they have their party, they play Padam Padam as a campy getting ready montage shows James kissing Kieran on the cheek. Asif is in Y2K drag, Emmanuel is in a corset and a wig, and they bring the Club to the house for a backyard party. They cheers to Big T and it's a nice moment. They jump in the pool. Inside, they play Most Likely To. They vote Callum most likely to not sleep in their own bed. Melissa nominates herself horniest person in the room, and then Huey is somewhere between way out of pocket and Wylan when he says most likely to cheat on their partner at home. Someone in the back says, what a terrible thing to say. So everyone is mortified, but the producers seize the opportunity to interrogate Callum in confessional, asking him what's been going on with his girlfriend back home. He shamefully owns up to it in the confessional. Huey says, I meant it humorously, which is an argument that never holds up in court, in the principal's office, at work, or anywhere really. Big T reflects that she recently had a breakup with a partner that really affected her, and everyone gives her so much love and support. In the bedroom, Zara still has it out for Corey, throwing his name out there. Raven decides that she's not going to say anything about that because she wants to lay low. Outside, they make s'mores. Michelle whispers something to Callum and they step aside, and he says he feels vulnerable and that he thinks about Michelle all day. Callum is honest in the confessional, saying that he's torn between his girlfriend and Michelle. He's struggling with it, but that doesn't excuse what he's doing. Mariah is flirting with James, but it seems like Mariah and Bananas aren't exclusive back at home. But Olivia thinks that even if you're not official and you're going on dates or dating someone, she feels like Mariah shouldn't be doing this to Bananas. She says that Mariah is playing with Faya, and they show in the dark footage of, I guess, Mariah and James cuddling in bed. The next day, Mariah feels guilty for cuddling with James, and she feels like she did wrong by Bananas. Nerys tells her that this means that if she's feeling this way, it's not meant to be with Johnny. This wasn't very good, friendly advice from Nerys. Why would you tell her to leave the guy that she's been seeing for a year for a guy that she just met who's literally from a different country? Michelle tells Corey that Zara has been coming for him and calling him a snake. Michelle doesn't want Corey to bury himself in deliberation, which brings us to the deliberation. James instantly brings up that the names that had been brought up were Corey and Huey, but actually nobody had been bringing up Huey too much as far as we saw, so Huey is as shocked as Well, I'm not shocked, but Huey is shocked and instantly pops off and pipes up. After deliberations, a big group meets up to really deliberate. They throw out James's name. Callum overhears this and says it's important for him to keep James around as his friend, but he wants to target Corey. James finds out that his name is being tossed up and he's pissed and starts saying some kind of C word that's blurred out. He says if he's voted in, he's going to make everyone's lives a living nightmare. In the voting, Mariah starts off voting for Huey. James tries to burn his vote and votes for Callum, his friend. Callum says, "You're a rat, mate." Most others vote for Huey. Zara still votes for Corey, which seems really petty. Olivia points out that the guys were upset that they burn voted and now they're all doing it. Huey ends up voted in and picks Kylan to go against him in the elimination. The elimination is called How I Roll, and they'll have to roll balls down a ramp into baskets. The first person to score 9 baskets win. It was really dumb of Huey to pick Kylan because this is right in Kylan's wheelhouse, and it's extremely big brothery. He should have picked James, who showed last week he has no endurance. So they start rolling. Kylan gets the first one in, which instantly sets him off to an advantage. The elimination looks like fun. I'd love to try it. Everyone is frustrated with Huey for sucking at this, even TJ, who can't help to say, "That's too fast." Huey trips and eats shit, falling, and he falls into his basket. Kieran says, "The balls are meant to go in the basket, mate, not you." Kylan shouts out Jordan as his inspiration and shouts out the communities that he represents: Black, Mexican, autistic, and they're really painting Kylan out to be a winner here, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's the sole champ for the season. So Kylan, unsurprisingly, wins the elimination, and we have to say goodbye to Huey. TJ says that he hopes that we see Huey again, and Huey says he wanted to prove his ability and that he's not a weak link, and he thinks that he's proven that. And I want some of what these people are sipping because I definitely would not like to see Huey again, and I definitely think he did prove that he was a weak link on the season. And I guess that kind of gets me into saying goodbye to Huey here. I make no secret that I wasn't the biggest fan of Huey on his original show, Big Brother UK. I was really shocked originally when he made it onto the casting pool for his original season of the challenge because it had been like 10 years since he was even on TV. I'm just personally not a fan of what he brings to the shows, but he came to this season and was overall the most pleasant that he's been on any of the shows that he's been on. Though through a lot of it, he was really trying to rewrite a lot of his history by saying that he is known for playing well and living well with others, when on literally every show that I've seen him on, he's screaming his face off at people. So he ends up coming here, not really contributing much to helping the team win money. I guess he made some friends, but overall I find him to just be a little bit of a headache. And I didn't mean to be harsh earlier, but I really just would not like to see him again on another season of the challenge or just again on TV. So with that, TJ reminds them that when the countdown hits 0, they're all in trouble, and the show teases that next week Jordan will be coming, so I guess the countdown is close to low. I don't know, every time they show this countdown it's at a different number, higher or lower. They're really phoning it in with this season, but I'm excited to see the bets, I'm excited to see Jordan, and I'll be talking about that next week, so don't forget to subscribe if you like the video so you don't miss it when I post that. Until next time, have a nice weekend, bye!